John 4:11. Dicit ei mulier, Domine, neque in quo haurias habes, et puteus altus est, unde ergo habes aquam vivam. Woman says to him, you do not have something in which to draw water, and the well is deep. From where, therefore, do you have water that is living? Here the Samaritan woman sort of dodges the interaction that has just preceded. She doesn't reply directly to what Jesus has said, but she makes a practical point instead, and she uses fairly homely Latin to do so. Mulier dicit ei, we've seen many times, dative of that third person singular personal pronoun. To him, she says, and then here we've got a quotation. We might add some additional punctuation in here. She says to him, you do not have. And here, neque, as sometimes happen, is more or less just equivalent to non. It doesn't always occur in pairs in that coordinating conjunction that you learned when you were learning Latin, nec, or neque, neque. Sometimes it occurs by itself in various kind of related meanings. Here it's just a simple negation. You do not have, and then here if we wanted to, we could supply something like aliquid, or even just quid. You don't have something, understood, in which you might draw water. Here we've got haurio, haurire. This is a fourth conjugation verb. Here in the second person singular, present, active, subjunctive. And it's subjunctive because we've got a relative clause of characteristic here. That is, you don't have the sort of thing, in an indefinite sense, the kind of thing which you might use to draw water from the well. So that's what prompts our subjunctive, is whenever we've got a relative clause that indicates a general type of thing characterized by a particular kind of action or possibility, it's a relative clause of characteristic, and it generally takes a subjunctive verb. So you don't have something, you don't have the kind of thing by means of which, and here the in is really totally superfluous and kind of ungrammatical. We could just have quo, and it would have made just as much sense in Latin. You don't have something by which or in which you can draw water, namely out of the well. And the well itself is deep. Altus. Altus is a wonderful word. It's very flexible. It can mean not only tall or lofty, as it often does, but it can mean quite precisely the opposite. Deep, even in a metaphorical sense, profound, etc. Here we've got that second meaning, deep, which is natural enough to infer from the context here, since we're talking about a well. The well is deep, and you don't have a bucket to draw stuff up in. From where, therefore, do you have living water? Now, in English, it would be more idiomatic to say, where are you getting, or where are you going to get living water if you don't have a bucket or a pot or something to draw water up from the well? But literally in Latin, from where, therefore, do you have? How have you come into possession, therefore, we might say, of this living water? And we're going to hear more about that living water in the next verse.